Hi guys, just a quick video to show you how to do cut and fold. Now there are other videos out there you can watch, but I've just got a few pointers that they don't mention. If you was just doing book folding, you would have this book turn the opposite way around. So this is the edge of your book. You'd have your ruler, you'd mark 2 points, and then you fold that side of the page to the first point, and that side of the page to the second point. That's easy enough. And when you're doing cut and fold, I'll show you what I've been using. I don't know if it's going to come out back to front for you or not, but this is Sarah Hallam, and it gives you the monogram, which is the big letter for the background, and then gives you all the details you need for the name to go through the middle. Now what you'll get, you print it out. Now what I did a mistake at first, I went into the CD, you know, when you can actually see the photographs and things, and I thought, why is none of the buttons working? But you don't look at that. You go into my computer and it'll say monograms and things. You click on that, and that's where your printouts and things are. You'll get a printout like this. I tend to print quite a few off, so keep going back to the computer. I print the alphabet off. I use them multiple times. I just rub out my little marks. And same with these. Now, the video that I watched, it's quite easily measured, lined up these black lines, but I found I just couldn't do it when I was lining up. I could get, so they're all numbered, so number 1 is those first 2, number 2 is second 2, number 3 starts up here. I could get my ruler to line up the third line, so the fourth one, and I was just getting in a mess. So what I do is, with a light coloured pencil, I connect all the lines so I can't make any mistakes. So that's something I do every time I do a printout. You don't need to do it for the small letters, because there's not many lines and you're not going to go wrong. There'll be an extra bit up here, and you have to cut the top off, because this, it goes into your paper, so like this, and I just tap it down so that this piece of paper is level with the end of my page. And this is the way around you have your book. You have the edge of the book facing towards you and the spine's facing the other way. And then you would just, at the beginning and end of every black line, you make a mark, and you just work through the whole book. You might have to fold the paper the further along you get, but always make sure that the back piece is below this line that you want, otherwise you'll be measuring up to the wrong bit. So that's that one. Pardon me. You will get an alphabet, and you'll also get a working out page. The alphabets are on different pages, so this one you get a love art, and then it's A to J, and so on. And obviously, if you want these after J, you cut along that line, and obviously for A to E, you cut along that line. And as you go along, you just make say that's your first one on your A. I don't know if you can see or not here. And you just make a little pencil mark above, and you know you've done that one. You do it on every single one. Don't think, oh, I'll do this one next one, so I'm picking up my pencil twice, because it's surprising how easily forget where you was up to, and then you're having to go back through your book to find out where your A started, for example. Now also, if you're doing a cut and fold that you're having to measure out, I mean, this is just a folding page, so with a cut and fold, you won't just have 2, you can have, I don't know, up to 15 different measurements. That's where you can easily miss a couple. So always double check before you mark off. You'd have your you'd have your book the other way around. You'd have your ruler to the edge. Whatever measurements it gives you for that page, you would just put a dot, and that's where you make your cuts. So it's the same, it's just that you'll be using a ruler to measure your marks, rather than with these you're doing from beginning to end. There's no measuring involved, it's kind of done for you. But you do have to be careful when you're measuring, because pardon me, I've got a bit of a cough. I have sometimes missed the odd measurement, so I've done all my cuts, and what you have to do, sorry now, I'll show you on this one rather than taking my old dog clip back off. I'll just do a few. No, I won't, I'll have to do them all actually, otherwise I might confuse you. Obviously the more markings you've got, and the more time consuming it is. You don't have to be perfect, but obviously the more perfect your marks and the more perfect and straight your cuts are, the better it's going to look when you're finished. Right, what I was explaining was, whether you're doing, because this isn't what you call an innie, so my letter and my word, when it's finished, they're going to be inset. They're not going to stick out from the book, they're going to be inset. So when you're doing that, you always miss the first one and you fold the rest inwards. So you miss one, do one, miss one, do one, miss one, do one. This paper in this book, because it's a long book, isn't the best for folding back. They're normally a bit easier to pick up. See how that one's not straight? I've got it at an angle. When the book's overall finished, don't worry about things like that, because you're not going to notice it. But like I say, the more perfect you get it, the better it's going to look. But I just ignore them now, because you just can't tell when you finish the book that you've had some wonky fullbacks. Now this is the thing with the measuring. If you ever get to the end and you find that you've folded this one and then you've got two flaps and you're thinking, but if I fold that back, so it's that one, fold that back, I can't fold that one back, and I'm not meant to fold the last one back, that means you've done a measurement wrong somewhere. So what I do is, as I go along, because you should always have a fold at the beginning and a fold at the end that you've not touched. So what I do is, say every 5 pages, I will just quickly write in pencil what fold number that page was, because then you can quickly find the measurements for that page and stick your ruler back on and recheck it. If you don't do that, you're going to end up with a nightmare if you don't make a note of your number on your pattern. Because you've not marked any of the numbers. So if this was on my pattern number 157, if you've done all these pages before, you're not going to have a clue which measurements you're meant to be looking at. If I've got a really long one, I'll actually just quickly scribble down from page 1, like, so I've had to start my book at page 35 to get me pattern in the middle. I'll quickly write on page 35, write number 1, and on my next one I'll write number 2, and you've got it there straight away. If you've made a mistake, you can quickly look at your pattern to see what pattern you was following for that full page. Now the problem is, if you've downloaded free patterns, now I've done a few, I've downloaded a few, and I've only ever actually completed one, and it was a disaster. It was a Harry Potter one, and the problem is you'll find with free patterns is you don't get all the instructions. So, say for this, the instruction is you have a fold page like that, where it's a full length fold, and then your next page you make your marks in your little folds, and so on. Your next page you'll do a full length fold, and the next page is your mark and fold. On your free ones it doesn't usually tell you, so you're sitting there thinking, do I just do every page as a mark and fold, or do I have these pages in between every mark and fold? So because it didn't state on the one I was doing, I thought, well, ignore this page and just mark every single page. And it turned out by the time I got to the end, it was so narrow you couldn't even make out my Harry Potter design. So I ended up just using that book, used the pages out of it for making paper flowers, to, you know, to mix with the colour, to make it blend in with the book. Anyway, I'm going off tangent there. So that's the only problem with buying free patterns, is you don't get the instructions, you just get the pattern, and you're never quite sure what you're doing. All my patterns, apart from that DVD that I bought from, I don't know whether I bought it from eBay or Etsy, I think I bought it from eBay. All my other patterns, like this one, which was you can't tell because I didn't have enough ink in my printer. You get all the instructions. They all came from Etsy, so it is worth buying. I tend to only buy ones that I know I'm going to use multiple times, because I've got a habit of thinking, oh, I like that one, but I'm only going to make it once, more than likely. So until I've run out of options, I will buy ones that I'll use repeatedly. And these ones, like I said, with that disc, you've always got the disc. You can use your papers multiple times, and I make these as gifts, or I decorate it so it's like a birthday card. No, instead of buying a birthday card, they'll get this. I haven't got any to show you because I've done loads, but I've given them all away. Now you will get a sheet like this. Mine's a bit chaotic, but you can have a look on Sarah Hallam's Peerless Designs YouTube channel, and she will show you how to work it out. But just to give you a short example, I don't know if I can show you right now. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, because I can't see me. I've got an Heidi and paw one, and I've got heart with a dog's paw print. I don't know if you can see it or not. I apologise if you can't see it, but I can't see my screen to see what you're looking at. If you're starting off, just do folds rather than cut and fold, because it's so much easier. It's so easy. A child can do it as long as they're good with a ruler and good with cutting on the measurements. But the ruler and marking the measurements is the most important thing, that the ruler is in the right place. So children can't do that. This is a bit more complicated, but so children can still do it, just not the really young children. I would say, I think they would make mistakes with this. But say for example that your pattern, let me use this pattern for the baby feet goes up to 255. So you need a book that's, you have to double it, because obviously you can't just fold one side of your paper, you're going to be folding, it's 2 pages, so you have to double that. Now if you find that they've marked it, say this is 250, 251, 252, 253, if they'd done it 250, 252, 254, then you wouldn't have to double it, because they've already done it for you. Sorry, my hands didn't work. But when it's like that, 50, 51, 52, then double that. So this pattern for the baby feet was 255, so you need a book that's at least 510 pages. With the Sarah Hallam, she gives you the workings out. Like I said, if you go over to Peerless Designs, Sarah Hallam, to show you to work out for this book. Now what you do, right, you've got your book that's at least 510 pages long. If your book is 700 pages long, you want your design to land in the middle of that book. You don't want only 2 pages that you haven't used at the beginning and about 100 pages at the end. You want it so you've got even Stevens at the beginning or the end. So if this was 510 and your book has got 700 pages, I actually count the pages that aren't numbered as well, but if it's 700 pages, 700 minus 510 is 190. So to even that out, I'm going to go a bit dizzy, sorry. 190, split that in half, which is it 90? 95. You will start at page 95 or 94 depending what side. 95. If it lands on the underneath, then start at page 94, because then you'll get 95 pages at the beginning, 95 pages at the end that haven't been used, and your pattern will land in the in the middle nicely. Some people take those spare pages out. I don't, but some people do because they like being able to see the beginning of the book, and they like to put their own coloured piece of paper in there. It just depends what you want really. Once you've finished your design and you've completed the book, then you'll see what I mean, whether to leave those blank, these unused pages in or out. You'll know exactly what I mean. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, another thing that's not mentioned. Now this book is going to be particularly hard because normally people do one letter, and that's what I've done before, and I've always needed what's each design, each one is 484 for the big letter, the monogram. So you'll need a book that's at least 484 pages long. Is it 484? Yeah, it's 484 pages long. Each monogram is like that, so obviously if your word going through the middle is longer, you're given all the amount of pages you need and all the measurements, and when you first get this piece of paper it's a bit confusing because you've got ×2 and you're thinking why is it ×2, but like I say, if you head over to hers, because you know it's her design, she's done all the workings out, it's only further, you know, you head over to her channel to understand this printout. Like I say, you get all the measurements, but what I'm doing for the first time is I'm doing 2 letters, 2 monograms. I'm doing a big M and a big C, so my pages had to be at least 1,000 pages book. So what I had to get was I don't know if you can see it or not. Yep, Les Miserables. I got it from World of Books, second hand. I always get good condition books second hand from World of Books, because World of Books, if you scroll down on a book, it'll give you the height of the book, because the height of the book is important as well, which is something it doesn't tell you. Like I say, on free patterns, because you might start a book and realise that your book isn't tall enough for the measurements. So that's another benefit of buying from Etsy, because you get not only get the page numbers you need, the height of the book you'll need. I've lost my thread now. Oh yeah, so I need a long book to do too. So this is a bit of a mammoth one, and expecting it to take a few weeks because I don't always feel like doing it. Now, regardless of whether you're doing 1 or 2, you'll probably have to find something to hold these pages back. Now, I do have a weight, because my sister made me 2 of these slate things. Normally this weight will do when I'm just doing one letter and 1 word through the middle. This would keep the pages back for most of it, but already I've not got far into this book and this is just like sliding down. So I got some bulldog clips, and once this, I'll keep it up there at the top of the book. I want to feel this bulldog clip is pretty full. I will move it down to the bottom so it's out of my way and put my fresh bulldog clip on. Now what you'll have to do is, when you put your fresh bulldog clip on, get a couple of the pages that are held back by the one you was using before, because that will keep these pages to the other pages. Otherwise this is just going to flop about. You can still go into the same problem. If you connect them all together, they should all stay back. And for this book I've only got 3 bulldog clips, and I think I'm going to buy another 3, which I buy from the range. They're really cheap. I think there was only like £1 something. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. And I think lastly, the other thing I wanted to mention is you want your folds of these inset pages to all be the same. You don't want to be folding one page up to there and one page like down to there. You need them all to be the same. So I have this laminated card, and I just stick it in there. I always keep it the same way because it's not perfectly rectangle. You know, I really tried but I couldn't. So if you keep it the same way, I know by the end you're not going to see that this isn't a perfect rectangle. I stick it in there, press it down, fold the page over the top, take that out, use a bone folder to fold that, and then when you're making your cuts, you just cut to that fold. Your scissors will naturally stop, and then you'd hold it down, so you can't see, hold it down, and use your bone folder just to get them back. Take that out away and give them a good press with your bone folder, which I didn't do, so let me just do that now. Just a quick press is all it needs, and then make sure they're all folded back like that. Then put it across and carefully, being careful not to pull the bulldog clip out altogether, put it in that clip. Now don't worry about any indentations. When you finish your book you're not going to see that. So yeah, I'll just do 1 or 2 folds just so you can see me at work. So fold to the middle. I hope you've not got too much glare and you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, and what I will say is as well, you will work through the book doing the pattern for the monogram, which is your big letter, and then because you'll work out where to start with your word. So your first word is hide editor. You'll work out where to start with the H. You work through the book doing a word, and the way that she's designed it, it will naturally land in the right position. So as long as you just tap the top of your paper, make sure it lines up, it will land. I think it's between there and there, I'm not sure, but it'll always land in the right place. You don't need to worry about that. So I'm just gonna fold these back. Like I said, full instructions on Peerless Designs. It's just really the point of making this video was just a few pointers that I know that other people haven't pointed out, like keeping your pages full, keeping your pages out the way, and you know the problem with buying free designs, downloading free designs. You think, oh, this is great, I've got loads here that I've downloaded for free, and then you soon find that you've not got any instructions, and you don't really want to waste your time working your way through a pattern, not knowing if you're getting it right or not. It's just worth you paying out. Like I said, any that I've paid for, like the baby feet, I've just done that one for my stepdaughter because she's due a 4th baby. I just need to decorate the book. I use wallpaper. That'll be a separate video, because the wallpaper I've got is not. It's nice. It's good for birthday books, but it's not really a wallpaper I'd want to use for the birth of a baby girl. And I usually put paper flowers on top. That's when my videos will probably be a bit chaotic because I'm not very good at it. I back it in paper and then use like gems and things to decorate the book, and I put some actually, you know, on the front of the book. It does look nice when I finished. Make sure the gems and that I put on doesn't take away from the design that I've put into the pages. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing, but so the only thing with buying a book that's got 1,000 pages is the pages tend to be a little bit thinner and they bend back pretty easy, so I tend to hold it down a bit more. I'm just using my bone folder, just give them a press. Just always make sure you haven't left any bits that should be folded back, you haven't left them sticking out, but I tend to kind of slide it onto that bit. You can always check it now. And that's it really, guys. I don't think of oh yeah, what I was coming to before and I forgot where I was going with it. Is I use this laminated card. Don't be tempted, because you want to get going with your book, don't be tempted to use a piece of cardboard, because even this laminated card, you can over time you see the edges start to get a little compressed, a little not bent as such, but if you use cardboard over time it's just going to fray, it's going to get bent, and you know your folds are going to end up all over the place. It's going to curl further and further back, so by the end your cardboard could be down to there, do you know what I mean? So use something stiff, but make sure it's very thin, because you don't want to be let me just show you, you don't want to be a step there, you want it as thin as possible, otherwise you'll end up with kind of a little double fold, if you know what I mean. You'll have your fold at the bottom and then you fold at the top of the step. So if you've got something laminated, or you could, I don't know, just use your laminated stuff, like you don't have to put anything in it, just so you've got a nice thick piece of plastic card. That's what's best to use. I did try and find some thin folders, mainly when I was in Asda, but they were either too flimsy or they were too thick. I couldn't really find anything that was really thin. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. Because I've only started, I think I've only got my family on the subscribers, but in the future, further down the line, when I've got a lot more videos uploaded and things like that. I started this the other day, because I do different crafts. But if at any point you want this refreshing, or you want to see me do just a simple book fold where there's no cutting involved, I'll do that. So thanks for watching, guys. Give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, and thank you for watching.